The Operation Epstein Fury has been an epic failure. Reports are coming out that there are a team of people who are going to Donald Trump and telling him to get out of this madness. It has been a complete failure. The United States lost at all levels. In fact, Donald Trump is even starting to blame people. He's blaming three, most importantly. He's blaming Marco Rubio. We already know he's a warmonger. He's always been a warmonger all his life. So it's not a surprise there. He's also blaming Witkoff and his son-in-law, claiming that those are the three people who convinced him to start this quagmire of a conflict with Iran. So the blame game has begun. Donald Trump is the same person who usually tells us that, look, nobody tells him what to do. He decides on his own and all of that stuff. Now that it's been a failure, a miserable failure for that matter, we can now blame people because Donald Trump never does anything wrong. When something wrong happens, it is other people who advise him. If it was a major success, it would have been by himself, waking up in the morning, the almighty Trump, just deciding to go for a win. Report is also coming out that Russia is not just helping with intelligence. It is also being said by the mainstream propaganda that Russia is helping with drones warfare as well, because they have a lot of experience with the Ukraine conflict. And the reason why, these things are coming out now is because they're trying to convince Donald Trump to get out. That's why, some of the truth are starting to come out. Another news, remember when the United States told us that it was only about, 6 people dead and 8 people injured in this conflict? It is now being said that it's actually 150 people who are injured and they were rushed in Germany. We've been talking about this Germany hospital here. See, when we report on things, you guys don't believe. You only want the mainstream propaganda to tell you and to confirm. Now your masters have confirmed that they've been lying the whole time. Now, keep in mind, this has gone from 8 people to 150. There is no transition. This administration, when it comes to lie, they are the master of lying. There are some people who could tell you that, it's been from 8 people to maybe 16 people, but from 8 to 150? So when the casualties are going to come out, what is it going to be? I've been saying here that people are saying that casualties are already up to 1,000. We're talking about dead soldiers. When it first happened, Iran said in the first days of the conflict, matter of fact, the very first day when they hit military bases, it was 500 people. Casualty, dead. Now we're more than a week. How many do you think it is? Of course, you guys don't believe until your propaganda comes and confirm. So let's wait until they confirm, so we will come back to this conversation. There's an expert, French expert, came back from Iran, and he's saying that Iran is 20 years ahead of the United States in terms of warfare technology. Their technology is so advanced that it's embarrassing for the West. He's basically saying that in Iran, you walk around and you see only grass, but yet underground, when a missile has to come out, you will see something just dropping inside like a tube, opening, the grass and the sand dropping inside on a missile, and the missile just coming from underground. What he's saying is that every modern technology of warfare in Iran is all underground. Ever since this conflict has started, the mainstream propaganda with the US government and of course Israel have been saying that they have already destroyed 90% of the launchers. Their thing is that Iran has, trucks that launch the missiles. These people are fighting the war of, 1970. They've been lying the whole time. So what launchers, did these people destroy? Lying. And so one of the very important things that is coming out that is extremely amazing is how they are talking about Iranians' drones. For those of you who don't know about Iranian drones, they actually came from the United States. Here's a video of Iran landing a US drone. Just watch this.
Today, President Obama confirmed what we first reported here last Thursday. The aircraft captured by the Iranians earlier this month is, in fact, one of America's most sophisticated spy planes. The president was asked about it today.
We have asked for it back. We'll see how the Iranians respond.
In Iran, experts have been poring over the drone. Iranian TV claimed today that they've recovered data from the RQ-170 aircraft, and a top Iranian military official says they can now reproduce it, though U.S. experts doubt that.
As you can see, this was during the Obama administration, where Obama came out and said, please give us back our drones. He didn't even say please. Iran took that drone and they made it better, and it became the Shahed drone that we are talking about now. Everybody's talking about it. It is so popular that the US is now copying Iran. Usually, the West come out and say that everybody has been copying from their technology. They blame China, they blame Russia, they blame everyone. That, you know, they always steal our technology. They themselves have developed drones, and it came from the Shahed drone from Iran. They actually captured one of the drones, and they claim that they reproduce a better version of it.
Let's take a look at what the U.S. is doing right now. They're fielding a previously unused military asset. I'm going to show you a life-size model that we bring into our virtual studio here. This is the Lucas drone, low-cost unmanned combat attack system. It is also, interestingly, based upon a clone of an Iranian drone, the Shahed 136 Kamikaze. The Iranians have been working on this for years. The U.S. got a hold of one. They had engineers take it apart and say, let's build a better version of it. That's what they have done.
Listen how they say that, you know, they made it better. Arrogance, man. Arrogance. So now, after wasting billions of dollars of missiles, I'm going to tell you how embarrassing this entire thing has been for the United States and Israel. At one point, Iran drew jets on the floor, on an empty floor. They just drew jets on it. Others took balloon helicopters and balloon jets and put them, you know, in a place where the United States was going to bomb. And they, you know, the US jets saw this, right, and shot at it, sending Tomahawk missile and, yeah, man, we destroyed jets and all of that. But then the whole time they were destroying balloons and hitting on empty floor with millions of dollars of missiles. Superpower? Man, I tell you, man, no one has ever embarrassed the United States this way before in this life. Let me tell you one thing. If you are in this generation, you better record everything that you are hearing or that you're seeing, because you are witnessing history. This would never be forgotten. Iran today is among the top 3 best army on the planet in terms of model warfare. The US has been put to shame. Shame into a level where nobody has seen before. These people have been telling us with their puppets how the US is the most powerful country on earth. But you cannot embarrass one country this way. No other, small powers have been embarrassed like this in a war before. We've seen conflict with different armies. Whether it's India, Pakistan, you even go to the Congo, Rwanda, you name them, those conflicts. But no one has ever been embarrassed this way before. A superpower being embarrassed with their puppet's power by only one country. And today you're going to come tell the rest of us that this is if this is what a superpower looks like, shame, I'm telling you, embarrassment to the highest level of embarrassment. There's not one time in this conflict where the U.S. has won anything. In the Strait of Hormuz, when they think that, they can go over there, be the big guy. Yeah, we're going to blow up boats. They've been blowing up small boats in Venezuela. With the disgrace that happened there, the leaders of that country, I'm not talking about the Venezuelan people, but the leaders are a disgrace. Because what Iran is teaching them now, they should be embarrassed of what they did, selling out their own president. So because the US thought they were destroying small boats of 1960s, they thought they could do the same thing with Iran. Donald Trump comes out and says, if Iran is putting mines on the Strait of Hormuz, we will bomb them 20 times more than what we did. Iran's like, bring it on. They've been saying that they're going to bomb even harder than what they've ever done before, and we have seen nothing. Iran still went ahead and put mines in the Strait of Hormuz. This morning, on March 11, they bombed at least 3 oil ships. I thought they wanted to play hard, and the U.S. did nothing because there's nothing they could do. The U.S. is now going to South Korea to take the air defense system that they've sold to them so that they can go defend themselves, because there's no more air defense system in Israel. It's gone. South Korea, was keeping those air defense systems because of the fear of North Korea. Now, they're left open. This is what you get for those who are allies of the United States. Even though South Korea is paying a lot of money to host the U.S. military and military bases in its countries so they can be protected. When things go bad for the U.S. will remove every single thing from there to defend themselves. Would they give the money back? Oh, no, they're not going to do that. That is what puppets of the United States look like. When you hear people coming, trying to tell you, the U.S. is powerful and, they always defend their people, who have they defended? The Gulf countries have invested billions of dollars in U.S. defense. This conflict has not, exposed the truth that there is no such thing as U.S. defense. The U.S. will only defend one country and one country alone, Israel. They're not even going to defend themselves. That's how bad it is. U.S. soldiers died in the very first day of this conflict, more than 500 of them. The U.S. didn't care. They care more about Israel than anybody else. This conflict has exposed the truth. Like I said, and I'm going to repeat myself, the world is changing and Iran is leading the change, because even in the conflict with Ukraine, it is Iranian drones that are making the difference and are changing modern warfare. I want to see, after this conflict, who will want to buy U.S. weapons again.